All right, welcome back, multifamily investors. A lot of people find value in me doing some of these deal analysis videos. So I wanted to do this one for a 5 unit in Lakewood that I really actually wanted to buy for myself. I've had other clients, look it over and pass. And so I don't try not to cherry pick deals with clients, but this one had a price reduction again. I like that it's been cleaned up. The area's not too bad. We can manage it in my company in-house. And I just really want it to work. And the numbers kind of do work if you tweak it a little bit, but this is what I want people to understand. Just because it pencils or the numbers work, you've got to understand what you're buying, where it's at, and everything else. Okay, so let's just review this real quick. It's a 5 unit, so you'd have to go commercial financing. It started at 1.1. It's been on the market a little over a month. The seller now has identified a 1031 replacement property and needs to sell, so they dropped it to 999. These are all small. Let's see, I forget, two bed, right? There's two beds and 3 1-beds. Okay, so I reached out to the agents, co-listing agents today, and got an inspection report. I also got some lease information, some financials, and I wanted to show you how I plug it in. So let's start with what was listed. 999. We're trying for 25% down. I'm going to budget about 10 grand in just reserves. And if we were fortunate, rates are kind of going up again, which is frustrating, but let's say we're fortunate and we could get 6.75%. Commercial lender is going to want to see the DSCR, and that is the debt service coverage ratio. I'm trying to do better about explaining some of these terms for people that are newer to the investment scene. And then we're over here trying to see what we can get for a cash on cash return, right? And this is obviously pathetic. So in an effort to save time, I already pre-plugged in the rents. Okay, a bank is going to probably assume 5% vacancy. I plugged in the property taxes, the insurance that we ballparked, the utilities that were provided, and management fees my company would charge. Because most are not going to self-manage. Some will, some won't. But estimate for proper repairs and maintenance, some landscaping. Okay, and that's where it's giving me. It's populating only a $64 a month positive at that price with that amount down. Now, again, we want to try and see what it's going to take to get to the 1.25 minimum that banks like to see here. So let's just get this where I think we could probably put some pressure on a seller that's a little more desperate to sell. Even if we went down to 944, it bumps that up a little bit, but it really doesn't help the debt service coverage ratio. And a lot of banks these days, because of the economic environment, are wanting more down. So you're going to have to budget probably 30 to 40% on a lot of these commercial deals. We're not quite at the 1.25. They don't want high LTV, loan to value. So 35% leverage. Boy, we're real close now at 944. And I always like to use unique numbers. Like, we've really sharpened our pencils. Don't just round up to 925, 950. Okay, now we're there. 1.25 at 937. I know it's still maybe kind of a big drop in price for that seller, but if they're motivated, 35% down, if we could find 6.75%, assuming 5% vacancy, right? That's 353,000 cash in. It's not fantastic cash on cash return, but let's talk. This is what the bank's going to look at, right? And this would probably suffice for them. They're not going to judge what works for you on the cash flow. They're going to judge on the loan to value mainly and the debt service coverage ratio. In reality, I just reviewed the leases. They are all fixed through early next year. So we know we could probably take that out. Now it's going to bump us to 4.55 cash flow over $1,300 a month. Additionally, if you wanted to self-manage this property, which is possible, it's 5 units, small, take that out. And now we're looking at almost 6%. This is getting a lot better, 1,700, and your debt service coverage ratio is really going up quite a bit. But anyway, we need to keep it in reality. So I'm going to back that back up. We're going to have some PM. We're going to have some vacancy. That gets us to the 1.25, but we have to get it at 937,000. And that assumes we're doing 35% down. So this is what I just plug in for a quick analysis. If people ask how I do it, and I go off the available information that we have at the time, or if I can get information from the listing side, the seller, with some more accurate numbers here. Pro forma, right? We can make some safe assumptions, some conservative assumptions where this may be a year from now. And then I have my little snapshot for clients to just kind of do a quick preview of what this looks like. Current, maybe cash flow of $972 a month, first year ROI, pro forma, if we get these things at the market rents, right? It does a little bit better. Here's the thing, again, pencils, right? We look at this, it's pencils at 9, let's say the seller agrees at 937, we're stoked. We have to come up with 35%, which isn't fantastic. I'd like to leverage a little more if we could, but it does meet that. And we want to move forward. Well, I personally, after doing a little digging, they did do a pre-inspection, which is great and super helpful. I don't really love the heating and the plumbing situation in this property. It has one hybrid water heater, 80 gallons for this entire property. I don't really dig that. It has in the wall, let's see if I can find a picture if they had any, kind of standalone old gas heater systems. I'm really not a fan of. Sorry if I'm going a little fast, but I'm looking for a specific picture. Doesn't look like they have one. And the units have been really updated nice. I mean, I really, really wanted this to work. I'm running into a lot of military, which are super stable in the area. There's a big joint base, Lewis McChord, we call it, JBLM. This might be the furnace. There was one unit that has a furnace, which was odd. And they're probably showing that one unit. It's a standalone. They're like a big boat. Yeah, I see the vents. This is the furnace unit. Okay, so anyway, they're not showing it. There's the 180 gallon in the laundry room that's servicing the entire building. They're standalone in the wall, tall gas furnaces. I really don't. And then all the panels needed to be upgraded. The crawl space needed to be cleaned out. So there's a lot of work that needs to go on. It doesn't mean it's a terrible deal, but just for that type of system situation, I'm ruling it out. So there you have it. I hope that's helpful, at least on the numbers, but we need to learn to dive a little bit deeper into the numbers. And also, I noticed 2 tenants had pets, so I wanted to review the pet addenda for each of those, find out what kind of breeds they have for dogs. There's a lot you got to dive deeper into than just the financial performance. Okay, and I actually drove by this property again today. Again, up and coming neighborhood. I did see some tagging, which is one of my metrics that I kind of don't like to see. It rules out a property on the neighboring property's dumpster, and then on the other side of this block, there was a fence line that had some tagging graffiti as well. Those kind of things are kind of red flags for me usually. Doesn't mean I'm going to totally rule it out, but it's definitely one of the red flags and one of my metrics I'd like to avoid. So I hope that was helpful. I feel like I went through that pretty quickly, but I didn't want this to be a 30-minute video. That's kind of how I'm looking at things and running analysis for clients. And if you have any questions, any of the numbers or the terms that I used, please be polite in the comments and ask me, or reach out if you would like to schedule some one-on-one on a deal analysis. I'm happy to do that. Or if you're interested in this deal, let me know it's still available as of today, February 17th. I think that the opportunity to make an offer under that price is realistic, and it'd be a good first commercial property for the right buyer. All right, thank you for watching.